Hello and welcome back to the Lap Down podcast with me, Dan, and Alex. And as you can see, we can't afford the Las Vegas Sphere. But what we can do is put some pulsating strobe lights down one corner of Alex Berry's spare bedroom in the Midlands.
That's the one. That's the one. I'm in the Vegas spirit.
How are you,
I'm in the Vegas spirit. I'm good. I'm cold, but well, as is the racetrack going to be this weekend, by all accounts. So it's just the cold. It's the cold special. But hey, we get to go racing again, which is exciting because it feels like we've not been racing for a while again, which seems to be happening a lot this year. But no, we're good and we're ready for Vegas and ready for the run home to the end of the year.
Yeah, is it through on the bounce now, all the way through?
Bang, 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 and then we're done till Feb.
Nice. Happy days. And then we can just see social media posts of Formula One drivers skiing and skydiving and on yachts and walking
showing
dogs
us how
and
rich
things
all
like
of them are.
Exactly.
And how rich we're not.
Yeah, that's just great content. I mean, you love to keep up with that kind of thing. And plus, if you have a Formula One podcast, you're going to have things to talk about. So if it's the occasional kind of topless photo of George Russell or Charles Leclerc kind of walking down the streets of Monaco with a croissant, then that is the kind of stuff that we need.
Yeah, we might have to institute a new segment of the podcast that's who's showing off their fuck you money this week, and we'll just start not naming and shaming, naming and jealousying. Yes, all of the who's been on the biggest yacht this week
apart from
Lance. To be fair, Lance has probably got the biggest. He's probably got the biggest yacht.
Yeah, probably has, but of all of them, he's probably the one that's earned it the least. So,
well,
big fans of Lance Stroll.
They've all married it. Well, not married into it. They've all been born into it, haven't they? So
big fans. But it's Vegas this weekend.
It's Vegas,
as you said. We've had 3 weeks off. The only team that are probably grateful for it is Williams, having piled through the amount of scrap that they would have shipped back from Brazil after that horrendous weekend in the rain. But we've got, what have we got? Well, we've got a normal weekend. There's no sprints. We've got some peculiar timings if you are a Formula One fan enjoying Formula One in the European lands. I think practice, on Friday starts at 2 a.m. along with Saturday, and I think quali and FP3 is 6 maybe, with the race at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. So yeah, get to bed early or don't go to bed at all. They are
all the way through. That's the Vegas attitude.
It is. And I mean, to be fair, you ain't getting any sleep if you keep those lights going all night.
Yeah, no, we might calm them down in a minute, might we? Are you a get up earlier for will you commit to a 6 a.m. race start and get yourself up for it?
I've been known in the past. I'd happily do that again. I do feel at the moment where the UK temperature is in the minus figures, that potentially kind of watching it on the laptop in bed could be the better option than kind of trotting myself downstairs and freezing my balls off at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, I'm not against the idea. And to be fair, also, if I get up at 6 and it's a naff race and I watch it, I get it out of the way and I've got the rest of my Sunday then to enjoy. So,
see, I think I would go the other way, and I think I would be annoyed that I got up at 6 for naffness. At least if I'm there with, some Monster Munch and a coffee. To really be an athlete in the morning, at least then it's at least I didn't get up silly early for this, That's my thought.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think there's validity in both strategies.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to know if you're listening or watching as to what your strategy would be. So you can drop us a little comment on the YouTube video. Are you an early riser? Are you a red button on your Sky Q remote box thing?
Or the Sky Glass, or the Sky app, or Now TV.
Thanks, Crafty.
All of the above. Okay, well, hey, Vegas has brought out some liveries. We complained last week that we hadn't seen the liveries yet, and they were just waiting. They were just waiting for this week's episode. We've got a couple of special edition liveries this week, and we'll go into details, but you know what? Fair play, Alpine and Stake. You've both actually rolled out a decent livery this week, I think, as far as special edition liveries go.
Yeah, it's still not the pink camo that we were promised.
No,
11 months ago.
But it's pink at least.
Still waiting. And I mean, they've still got a chance. There's still 2 races to go. What I'm hoping for, I really am hoping, the last race, Abu Dhabi, Alpine just turn up. They don't do any press release for it. Turn up on the grid, FP1, a great big pink camo Alpine just plonked in the middle of the racetrack, and everyone's gone, finally. They'll probably win a race or something like that. This is what would have happened if they'd have run that earlier. Stake is fine. There's only so much you can do with charcoal grey / black and fluoro green anyway without it looking like a Hot Wheels car, which is exactly what they've got.
Oh, it's massive Hot Wheels. It's almost a brand tie-in with those new Hot Wheels F1 cars that they've launched.
Well, I think there's an element the fact that the car is so crap, Hot Wheels have probably just avoided them from that launch, and they've kind of gone, no, we need to make sure we get in there.
Yeah. It's the Guy Fieri of liveries, though, isn't it? Like, it's a Guy Fieri special edition for Las Vegas with the flames and, like, the neon green and all the rest of it. But, I mean, like, hey, it's better than their normal livery. It's more green than their normal livery. And, I mean, flames sort of fall in the gap between being unironically cool and ironically cool at the same time. I mean, hey, I'll take it. And the Alpine, I prefer the pink. They're going to run it for the last 3 races of the year. And BWT, if you could just stay forever, because I don't need another blue car. I'm quite happy with a pink car. And at least that car's properly pink. So, yeah, I'm on board.
I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. Just give me a little bit of camo.
Yep. No, I'll go with it. I'll go with it. Ferrari have made some strange choices with their limited edition content for this weekend. Ferrari have just kind of left their suits out in the sun for this weekend and then called it a special edition. I don't think I'm on board with it.
No, it was kind of similar. Do you remember the Miami one when they had the turquoisey blue, sky blue type throwback race suits, and it was the holler back to the yesteryear, and everyone was, oh, this is going to be exciting. We're going to see a blue. Oh no, it's just red, which is kind of what you'd expect from a Ferrari anyway. But it does feel like this one in particular, they've had a bit of a manufacturing mishap with whatever kind of factory somewhere in the eastern part of the world that they may use for their race suits and merchandise and things like that. And what's happened is they've turned up with some faded red stuff. Yes. And they've gone, well, this is crap, lads. And some bright spark, and to be fair to them, they've adapted well and they've gone limited edition.
Well, this is the Desert Sun special edition.
Yes.
Would you like to hear some marketing wank about the Ferrari special edition Desert Sun collection?
Do I?
Here we go. Las Vegas style. The shades of the Mojave Desert anticipate the energy of the Las Vegas Grand Prix with a new edition of garments and accessories for all Formula One fans. Shut up.
There's not much faded and dull about Vegas. I have been, and I can kind of speak from experience. None of those neon lights I would describe as faded / dull. They're normally, as a general rule of thumb, normally quite bright and eye-catching.
Yeah, it's strange. The race suits, I think, in particular, look strange. There's an upshot shot of Carlos Sainz on the main Ferrari store website that I'll let you all go and find. And it just all looks a little bit old, vintagey, off. I'm just not on board with it, to be honest.
Did you ever watch that Ferrari movie?
No.
You didn't watch that? Okay, well, my point here is kind of irrelevant at this point, but... it kind of feels a little bit like that. It was a really, really good movie, and then they kind of like CGI'd some crashes, which made it look absolutely awful. And it kind of feels like they've done that kind of thing, because I don't necessarily think the actual kind of... It doesn't look bad. I will say that. I think it looks okay.
The hats and the trainers are a bit shit.
Why the bloody hell would you buy F1 Ferrari branded trainers?
Well, there's other questions there.
Okay. Yeah. But they've just got the wrong weekend.
Yeah.
I think it looks I think it looks quite nice. But it doesn't really tie in with the glitz and glamour of Vegas. Everybody else is going to go like limited edition neon helmets, and they're going to go special pink liveries, and they're going to go extra special DRS buttons and stuff like that. And Ferrari have just turned around and go, Vegas? Dull. You know what they've done? What their experience of Vegas is, they've had to go there for a work convention about photocopiers, and that is their lasting impression about Las Vegas. Everybody else, all those other teams have turned up and they've gone and got pissed, and they've played blackjack until 7 o'clock in the morning. They've been to those all-you-can-eat hotel buffets, and like they've walked back and their trousers don't fit anymore, and they've hired Mustangs, and they've all done like drag races up and down the Las Vegas strips as the lights go out. And the man from Ferrari turned up to a photocopier convention in one of the XL exhibition centers, like off the strip. He didn't even see the Las Vegas lights. He doesn't even know that exists. They just went, you're going to Vegas, and he went, oh, this is good. And he hopped in the Uber from the airport, McAllen Airport, I think it is, and they took him to a warehouse and they spoke to him about Xeroxes.
Yeah, I mean, they've got like the Nevada collection, haven't they? It's not the Las Vegas collection. It's the Nevada collection.
Yeah.
It's dull. It does raise a bigger issue, though. I have such an issue with Formula One merch, and this Ferrari collection is highlighting that more than ever. Because if you would like to buy a Puma for Scuderia Ferrari Desert Sun Special Edition sweatshirt, you need to part with £135, which is already too much for a hoodie, but you also don't get free shipping on that. You've paid £135 for a hoodie, and then you need to pay another £15 to have it posted to you.
That is actually disgusting.
Does Carlos deliver it to me personally for £15? I mean, how can you justify it? And who is honestly paying that? I don't get it.
I don't know. Do you know what I've just done? I've just Googled red Puma hoodie, right?
Yeah.
And you can get a red Puma hoodie for £33. Mm-hmm. If you want a red Puma hoodie with a prancing horse and a Shell logo on, so if you want to do some advertising for your favourite petroleum company and maybe the company or the bank that you may use, your £33 hoodie, this isn't the special edition one, goes up to £120.
Yep. And then if you want it to be faded,
same thing.
It's another £15 on top of that. And then if you don't want to have to go and collect it from Maranello personally, it's another £15 on top of that again.
Do you know?
I mean, grow up, F1. Is what I'll say.
Do you know, like, it's not right going on the various websites that you can get kind of copyrighted and fake.
We would never suggest such a thing.
And certainly would not condone anybody that goes on DHgate or AliExpress or anything like that to kind of purchase any form of sports items, clothing, memorabilia, whatever you want to call it, because that is the wrong. If those
places do wish to advertise, though,
yes,
lapdownpod@gmail.com, there are options available.
Yeah, we have packages. But why would you, if you can go and get the very same thing for a fraction of the price, knowing that T-shirt is going to be outdated next weekend or the season, the next season or whatever that might be, I don't know. I'm really struggling to see where the benefit of £130 on a hoodie is.
There was, last year, I nearly gave in and bought some branded teamwear last year because last year there was a special edition Lando Norris. I can't remember what race weekend it was. It might have even just been a collection. Yeah. It was a very cool Lando Norris cap. All right, new era cap, had like some bubble balloony style LN4 on the front. It just looked nice. It was just a nice hat. It was a cream hat. Like, I think it was like light blue lettering. Unless you knew it was a Lando Norris special edition hat, you'd probably just go, oh, that's a fun hat with a cool motif on the front. And that's the kind of merch that I like, is that if you know, you know, and it's a nod and we can maybe have a little wink to each other in the street. But if not, it's just a nice hat that I don't feel bad putting on. But that cap was £45, as is the Ferrari special edition red with a Ferrari logo on it cap for Vegas. So I didn't buy it. If the cap would have been £25, I probably would have bought it, and I dare say a lot of other people might have bought it then as well. And I'm not an economist, and I don't work in, big brand merchandising and stuff. I get it, it's different on a race weekend when people are there, and it's like concert t-shirts, and you almost allow yourself to be scanned a little bit because you're in the room and it feels a bit more special. Surely they would make more money overall, and it would do more benefit to the brand overall to have more people wearing these items by making them more accessible pricing-wise. And obviously that's not the case, otherwise they would have changed it by now, because it's all based on data and they'll charge you as much as you can for it. But it just feels icky and weird, and it feels like it doesn't tick all the boxes correctly. Also, maybe they don't care. Maybe they make like 15 of them and it's all just a marketing exercise and you never know.
I think it's certainly one of those things, isn't it, that kind of causes a bit of confusion when every time you turn the TV on, you hear about people in cost of living crisis. And there are, and clearly there are people that are buying this stuff for this amount of money.
Yeah.
Because you never really see them in like sales bins and things like that, do you? Like hugely reduced prices.
No. You occasionally get a little bit at TK Maxx. They get a delivery clearly once a year from like Castor. And then all of a sudden for like 2 days, there's a load of F1 stuff at TK Maxx.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to go and take a couple of clothes rounds to Vegas, you're probably going to be able to shift a few of these, aren't you, for 130 notes? Yes. So, Good marketing by Ferrari. Well done, you.
Good marketing by Ferrari. We'll talk good marketing by Williams as well, because the best sponsorship activation on the grid has been renewed. The Duracell battery is staying on the top of the Williams, and I think we can all just take a minute just to applaud that is going nowhere, because it's the best thing I've ever seen ever.
It's wonderful. It is wonderful. The Formula One cars have got batteries, and Duracell make batteries, and it's just the perfect combination.
Yeah, it's bang on. And then they kind of, I'm not going to say ruined it, but they've had the best idea of the Duracell battery on the top. And I will actually go as far as to say that Mercedes have kind of tried to match them by having the driver radio button be the WhatsApp logo.
Yeah.
Again, clever, makes sense, doesn't impact anything. It's the kind of thing you go, that's cool, and you move on. Williams now are making the DRS activation button on the steering wheel Duracell brown, which I don't get that tie-in, because DRS is not a battery-related thing. No. Surely it should go on the ERS button, not the DRS button.
Yeah. Are you old enough to remember KERS?
I've heard of KERS.
Yeah. That would have been kind of energy boosting battery type power thingy going. I couldn't tell you the era of when it happened, but I think it was probably when Valencia was on the calendar, which was a dark time for Formula One. But it would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it, if you had kind of a push to pass type situation, and that was the battery powered button, because boosting. Duracell make batteries. Yeah. Duracell, last time I checked, don't make. Well, I guess you'd probably call it wind, wouldn't you?
They're not a wind company.
No.
Traditionally.
No.
I guess technically it's using, I'm guessing, is it an electric flap or is it a hydraulic flap? It might even be a hydraulic flap.
It's hydraulic, isn't it?
Well, in that case, it's all fucked. So get rid of it. Take it off. Pick a different button.
I wonder how much extra that has been bolted onto the Williams sponsorship thing with Duracell.
How much is the sticker?
For a button.
A button that we're not going to see either is the other thing. You never see that button because they always either blur the steering wheel, hide the steering wheel, or you don't. It's cut out of frame anyway. And then the only time it's used, a big finger covers it in a glove. So it's, I don't know, but they have got the best bit on top. So I suppose it sort of balances itself out in the end.
Maybe they just wanted a bit more.
Yeah, I mean they're on the rear wing as well for Vegas, so they have got a little bit. And I think you said Alex Albon raced a bunny or ran alongside a bunny, which why not?
I think he said good luck to the bunny from memory. I scrolled past it.
Why did the bunny?
But...
The bunny is not racing.
No, I think they were on treadmills.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know. It still baffles me, the fact that Energizer and Duracell both have bunnies as their logos, and they're the two biggest competitors. That confuses the shit out of me.
No, there's a lot of questions there. All right, this is the kind of content now where I think we come into our own here as a podcast, because we do hard-hitting F1 journalism and opinion that's grounded in facts, in engineering, in competition.
I'm worried.
Why is there a Formula One Love Island happening at the minute between all of the younger, new rookie drivers? Because I get it. You're all, rich, young, hot Formula One racers, so you're going to get your end away. There are so many women in the world. Can we not make better choices, or can we not go and find our own ones? That's my early question before we go into details here. It all relates to Franco Colapinto, by the way. The bloke is cashing in, I believe is the term.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think they'd have options, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would dare say they do have options. Quite a few options.
Yeah.
I think.
I can't believe they're in a world where the demand is higher than the supply. And that sounds like a pretty horrendous way to describe the activity and the relationships that we're about to go into talking. But yeah, you would think that maybe, do you know what? And we'll go into, basically Colapinto, he's got his end away with the ex or current girlfriend of Ollie Behrman or something like that. And we're not 100% sure. But as you can imagine, various kind of news outlets like the Daily Mail have been creating headlines about it, which aren't really relevant to anything. But it would be quite nice, wouldn't it, to create a bit of kind of drama? Because everybody on the Formula One grid just feels like they get on with each other at the moment. And I don't really like that. I want to hear people effing and blinding at each other.
The old guard.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to kind of see
they be
people...
colleagues and friends.
It's boring, isn't it? So maybe this is what we need. Maybe when Ollie Behrman and well, no, because they're not even going to be on the grid next year together, are they?
Well, not at the minute, but maybe.
No. Oh, well,
Maybe.
it's gone then, isn't it? Because wouldn't it be great to see like the Williams and the Haas driving around at the back of the grid, like banging into each other because somebody stole somebody else's girl, and it'd be good.
Yeah, so, I mean, Franco's just off on a mad one, is what we seem to be learning here. It suggests that Franco, at one point, just jumped on the ex of Ollie Behrman, which is, okay, look, you're all young lads, and it's a 21-year-old model and all the rest of it, fine. Franco Colapinto now is causing some waves through a lot of the Argentinian community because he is now, by all accounts, shacked up with... look, nobody seems to like her, is what seems to be going on.
Do you think that might be because people are jealous that it's not them?
Look, all I'm going to say, and I'm going to make a big statement, it seems like Franco Colapinto likes MILFs. Is the... That seems to be where we're at, because the 21-year-old Franco Colapinto has now shacked himself up with Maria Eugenia La Shaina Suarez, which, by all accounts, she's a mum of 3 and a bit of a home wrecker. I have no idea who she is. As far as I'm concerned, Franco can shag whoever he wants.
Do you even know how old she is?
People are getting mid-30s, I think.
Okay.
But, I mean,
Lewis
Franco...
Hamilton going out with Nicole Scherzenegger when she was, like, considerably older than Lewis?
Yeah, look, they're just gonna... It's just a game of musical chairs, isn't it, at the end of the day? But it's a little bit strange for me because people are so... And I don't know the full story about who this woman is and all the rest of it. I don't know, right? She's obviously quite an infamous figure.
Babysitter.
People are getting very worked up. And by people, I mean Twitter. And by Twitter, I mean certain accounts that are posting 40-tweet-long threads about why this is the absolute end of the world for the entire sport of Formula One because Franco's getting on top of a mum of 3. And I just... Let's go outside, shall we? And let's go to Lidl and let's get ourselves, something from the bakery section and go for a walk and then just watch the race because it doesn't really matter who the driver's shagging the night of the race.
Did you know I had a cronut from the Lidl bakery the other day?
I had the cronut from the Lidl bakery the other day.
What did you think?
It was good in the... To be fair, a lot like a Monaco race weekend.
Yeah,
it was good for the first 10%, which was the top bit that had the icing on. That's quality. And then the bulk of it underneath, the race itself... a little bit bland and boring, and it felt like it promised more than it delivered.
See, I went the other way around because I thought the texture of the actual cronut was quite enjoyable. I just found the chocolate on top of it, and it may well be because it was Lidl's. I found that to be quite cheap, and I didn't enjoy that quite so much. But
interesting.
Do you think what's the longevity of Franco Colapinto here? Like
Are we talking what in the bedroom?
No,
8 minutes, 9 minutes.
You'd like to think everything's just a bit quick, wouldn't you, with a Formula 1
Depends how much Mate he's had, I think. I don't know how Mate inhibits or helps sexual performance.
You've got to be careful when it goes purple. But the thing is, what is his longevity? Because we know he hasn't got to drive next year. At the moment, there is one seat left available on the Formula 1 grid, unless anybody decides to completely rip up the rulebook and throw everything into the blender again, which I don't think it will, because obviously contracts have been signed and it would make a huge kind of knock-on effect as to who ends up where, and I don't think anybody's lawyers or legal teams are particularly interested in that kind of world. But he hasn't got to drive next year. Williams have got Albon, they've got Sainz. Sainz and Albon are both on multi-year deals. We know Audi comes in at the end of next season for the start of 2026, which might throw a spanner in the works. But again, that is going to require Audi to buy Sainz out of a contract, if that were to happen.
I will also say, as well on that, Albon and Sainz, both objectively better Formula 1 drivers for 2025 than Franco Colapinto. As much promise as he's shown, Albon and Sainz are better options.
But does this young lad from Argentina... Does he become just an absolute flash in the pan for the back half of 2024 and never get seen again on a Formula 1 grid?
There's a genuine chance. And it's not his fault in the slightest, and it's not a Nick de Vries situation where he got found out as not being good enough for it. It is just a circumstantial, only 20 people are allowed to do this thing. So, absolutely yes. And that's why, absolutely go on, Franco, my son. Take your pick. He is currently... Franco Colapinto is currently the Formula One driver edition of the Hock Tour girl. Right? He's had his brief... He's shot to stardom, and he has ridden that to the bank. Podcasts, merchandise, appearances, red carpets, shag and MILFs. He is just, he's taking his opportunity, he's got the ball, and he's running with it to the end zone, and fair play. Fair play, it's all I'm going to say. Fair play.
Yeah, and we're here for it.
And we are, as the official driver and top shagger of the podcast, Franco Colapinto, go on, my son. I support you 100%. 100%. It does, look, we won't go into it now. This is maybe an off-season chat for us to have, but Formula One fandoms just need to calm down on when there's a social account that supports one driver or sometimes one team, they have such a tendency to get so worked up, and they must generate heat with how much they must just vibrate in concern and anger and rage about the smallest things that people are going on. People are so upset that this woman, this Maria, has broken up some other marriages or whatever because she kind of comes in and steals men. Okay, Franco Colapinto's not married. There's nothing there.
No,
Franco
maybe
Colapinto's
Franco's
probably
the
got
home wrecker.
Well, perhaps.
Just throwing that out there. Maybe he's the guilty party right now. Maybe Maria, or whatever she was called, maybe she's the one that's married right now.
It's possible, but just let him have his fun. He's a 21-year-old athlete. Like, just, he's not proposed to this woman. They've been photographed in public a couple of times going on a date. Like,
yeah. Can we move on from this? Because it feels like we've spoken about this for about 10 minutes now. And that feels like it's too long. But generally speaking, I do really enjoy the Formula One community and just how engaged like the whole kind of space actually is. It does feel like the actual interactions that we get on this podcast, on the TikToks, on not necessarily the Instagram reels, but the TikToks in particular is fantastic. I love the fact that people get involved and it does feel like they will listen to the point that you're making on whatever it might be, and then either completely disagree with what you've just said or kind of go along with it. And but I like the fact that I feel like people have listened for 30 seconds and gone, no, you're talking bollocks and this is the point, but they've still given you the thought. So I think the Formula One community is brilliant in comparison to some of the other sports that I may or may not kind of muddle around with content. But is there anything else that we have on our list of things to kind of rattle through before Vegas, or do we need to talk a little bit more about the Vegas Grand Prix?
Well, we probably need to talk a little bit about the Vegas Grand Prix and what's happening for the last three races of the year, because it was bubbling up, and then I think someone sort of did that trick where you put the wooden spoon over the top of a pot of boiling water to stop it from bubbling over, because it kind of feels like we're back down to a simmer now, because I think all of the standings are locked in.
Can I try and set a fastest lap on this?
Oh, here we go. He's bolted a set of fresh softs on.
Yeah. I'm running in P8. I've got a free pit stop, and I'm getting towards the end of the Grand Prix. So my fastest lap attempt on this is Formula One. I think it's been accepted now that Formula One is a bit more of a show than a sport. And with what's happened in Formula One over the last couple of weeks with red flags and penalties and things like that, have they done their absolute best to try and get this championship battle through to Abu Dhabi so that they can make some nice posters when it comes around to the last Grand Prix and go Lando v Max, the battle of the set type thing? And actually what's happened is McLaren and Lando just completely dropped the ball with all of the assistance that they've possibly had over the last couple of Grand Prix to try and peg Max back a bit. The whole thing is just turning out to be a bit of a damp squib, and the ratings and the viewings on Drive to Survive and the next three Grand Prix are going to be down a little bit, because even Lando now has said in a press conference that his battle, or McLaren's battle, is with Ferrari for this constructors' title and not with Max and Red Bull.
No.
Oh.
I don't. Maybe I'm innocent to it all. I don't. I think the media made a lot more out of that they were trying to help Lando and hinder Max and whatever. And I think there was a lot of circumstantial stuff that happened that, if you want to look at it in your way, you can then start to attribute. It's that thing, isn't it? Never attribute malice to what can be just attributed to, stupidity. And I think it just, these situations came up a little bit, I think, because it was 2 races that were giving it 100% maximum absolute beans. That is going to cause incidents where the stewards probably need to get involved. And then Max has always had sort of a different way towards driving or interpretation of the rules or his absolute use of all the rules. But no, I would agree. We're absolutely in squib territory because
yes, done.
McLaren are going to win the Constructors, Ferrari are going to finish second in the Constructors, Red Bull are going to finish third. Max Verstappen is going to win his 4th Drivers' Championship. Lando Norris is going to come second, Charles Leclerc is going to come third. I can tell you that right now, and you can play this again in 3 weeks' time, because that's just barring something absolutely ridiculous that changes positions 2 and 3. They're the only positions that are changing. I don't see Ferrari overhauling McLaren. Lando's not going to overhaul Max. Charles maybe could overhaul Lando, I think, if things don't, if things go really badly in these last three races.
Yeah, I think even if Max had a dunf, I don't think Lando is catching him, which is a shame because it did feel like, and it's kind of been proven. I saw a clip the other day from was it Tommy, not the WTF, what do they do now? P1. And he kind of said, like, he basically worked out and said that if they'd taken the best result from Red Bull compared to McLaren now, McLaren have actually made a car for either Lando or Oscar to be winning this World Championship right now. Red Bull doesn't change a great deal, maybe by 4 points where Perez has outscored Max. But if you took the best results from both the McLaren drivers, that car should be winning by about 24 points or something now, which is a real shame. And I think it's starting to catch up with Lando, some of the things that he's been talking about and been saying over the last couple of years with regards to kind of like Lewis and the fact that kind of he only won world championships because he had a world championship winning car, etc., etc., etc. And actually, Lando, me old fruit, you've been in that situation now and you still haven't delivered. And it isn't going to be as easy for him next year because they are going to start 50-50 again between Lando and Oscar. And I'd argue and say that Oscar over the course of the season has probably just edged him with a bit of assistance going in Lando's favour. And I think another season into it for Oscar, unless he completely falls off the boil, is going to be more of a handful for Lando to go up against as a teammate next year. We know that it's not going to be all driver number 1 in that orange team compared to like it might be in another one. And it is going to be hard work, and I don't think it's going to be... I think this might be his best opportunity to win a World Drivers' title, and I think he's fluffed it.
Interesting. See, I find it interesting that people try and attribute a lot of blame almost to Lando Norris, that he hasn't gone and won this as if he had the absolute box seat and it was a sure thing that he should have, and he's done incredibly well not to. And I think people forget that it was always an uphill battle, that he was going to have to be flawless through the back half of the year because McLaren didn't have... he's trying to win a Drivers' Championship on 75% of the season as if he, sat out the first half, first quarter of the year. So I think... But also it is then difficult. That's the first time he's been in a genuine title fight, and you do have to be absolutely perfect. And that's why a year like 2021, we're not going to see another one for a long time, because that was 2 drivers that were largely at their perfect level all year, and it was stunning. I think next year is going to be really interesting. I find it interesting there, and it might be me reading your sort of thoughts differently, but it's almost like for next year you're going, well, the main event is Lando v Oscar, not necessarily someone v Max Verstappen, which is such a nice, refreshing thing. We keep talking about it like we're almost harsh on Max Verstappen that we don't give him enough credit, but it would be so nice next year if it was someone v someone and that someone didn't feature the Dutch national anthem, just to mix it up a little bit. Like, give me Interteam, I don't care. Give me, Charles v someone. It's all fun and games. But yeah, for the time being, we're done ski. But I think next year could be quite interesting with them all starting fresh, and if they can all come out of the gates equally, if we can have 24 races like we've had in the second half of this year, banging. Constant banging.
Yeah. Please.
There we go. Much like Franco Colapinto, it's just constant banging.
A different door for every day of the week.
There we go. Right then, Dan, where can they go and find you on the internet if they'd like to see you do things other than Formula One chat?
Yeah, just a little search on Dan Jads, and I'm there.
There you go. There you go. You can find me at Alex Typed That on socials. I don't do a huge amount on there. You can watch me play games on Twitch, /Hey Look It's Alex. Or you can keep engaging with the Lapdown Podcast on TikTok and Insta and YouTube. And you can send us emails at lapdownpod@gmail.com. You can please give us a 5-star review if you've enjoyed things. And you can subscribe to the podcast and you can send it to friends and all the rest of it. How about all of those things? But for the time being, Dan's going to be up very early this weekend. I'm going to be sleeping in and then watching it mid-morning. And we'll be back next week to talk about, I'm sure, another absolute cracker of a Las Vegas Grand Prix that won't be processionary whatsoever.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.